It's your favorite super duper mother daughter duo coming to you with all the positive vibes and helping you become exactly who you want to be. We're giving out all the good stuff on this podcast, and it's your host Tekoa and Sarah. So grab your mug because it's time for tea. Hi everyone, it's Tekoa.
This is Nasara.
And it's time for tea. Today we're going to be talking about the power of no, and I am absolutely excited to get into it. This goes along with setting boundaries. This goes along with being authentic to your true self, and this is definitely a serious part of growth that I had to learn to come into the person that I am today. So I'm excited to share this particular episode with all of you. Okay? So let's get into what no actually means. No is like a rejection. No is a not right now. No is definitely something that can change a mood in a room. You know, if you hear no, it definitely shifts an attitude. I know for me, I love to be told yes all day. The moment my husband says no, I'm kind of like, that was by accident, clearly. You did not mean to tell me no. So no has such power to it. And we're going to get into why that is. So one of the reasons why I think that no is so powerful is because when we're young, when we're kids, and when we're growing up under our parents' rule or whoever's house you grew up in, you were heard the word no. Most likely, there are special individuals who never get told no. And we see some of the occurrences from that, but we were told no when we wanted candy. We were told no when we wanted dessert. We were told no. With my daughter, she's always asking for money and I'm constantly telling her no. So we're always told no, and I had to look into what effect that might have on us when we get into our adult age. So if you remember the feeling of being told no when you were younger and you were a child, then maybe when you get older, you quite don't want to hear that. It doesn't resonate well with you. Not only do you not want to hear it, you don't want to reciprocate that no energy to other individuals. And hence, we have the people pleaser. We have someone who's scared to say no, who's fearful of hearing what people might say if they say no, because they're looking for acceptance, they're looking for approval, they're looking for affirmations, and all of those things usually come from people pleasing. If you're constantly making people happy, usually they stay on your good side, right? But the moment you say no, I can't, I'm not able to, we kind of start to make some enemies. Okay, we have some push and pull in relationships if they're not true friends, if they're not authentic, if they don't respect your boundaries, if they're used to running all over you. Once you start to assert yourself in the realm of no, you'll start to encounter some issues. Okay. So yeah, I think it starts from parents, and I think that resonates with us, and we don't really like that feeling, so we carry it along and we try to say yes to as many people as we can, thinking that we're making the world a better place. But are we making the world a better place? I don't think so. No. And I'll give you an example. Say for you in particular, you're a people pleaser. Someone comes along and says, "Hey, can I borrow your charger?" Even though your phone's on 20%, you say yes. Someone comes along and say, "Hey, can I have some money for some food?" Even though your bank account is low, you say yes. Someone comes along and say, "Do you mind watching my dog for me next week? I'm going to be out of town." You say yes. Someone comes along and asks if you can help with their work that they're supposed to do, and you say yes. And now you're stretched so thin and your cup is so full of all of these yes things that you said yes to that you can't make room for yourself. You lose yourself. You're drowning in responsibilities that you've accepted, but you really never wanted to take on. So I'm going to challenge you today, all my people pleasers out there and all the people scared to say no, is if you hear somebody offer an opportunity to you and you really don't want to take it, say no and walk away. Don't come back and apologize. "I'm sorry for saying no. I really didn't mean it. I genuinely want to help you." No. Do something for yourself. That's a part of self-love, and say no. Okay. So I wanted to do an acronym for no because it's such a small word. And I'm like, come on, you can think of an acronym. And my acronym is no is new opportunities. Okay. Just because you drop one thing doesn't mean there's not a better thing coming for you. And as long as you're saying yes to opportunities that don't necessarily fit and align with who you are and what you're supposed to do, your core values, then you're going to continue to get stuff that doesn't align with what you want to do. We have to start saying no to those things that aren't necessarily us, that don't necessarily define us, that might be who we used to be. And we have to start saying yes to opportunities that are for the person that we're headed into being, okay? So,
correct.
do you want to add anything?
No, I'm going to kudos. That is true.
Yeah.
It's a process, but learning no, and we're going to talk about that.
Yes. So let's get into empowering ourselves. Why is saying no so important? So for me, I was saying yes to everything, and it never really occurred to me. I think last year and the year prior was when I started saying no. It was my theme of the year was be careful who has access to me, because I'm such a loving person, I'm such a giver, and the people who have access to me will love to take, and
Mm-hmm.
they will take and never give back, and there's no reciprocity, and I'm left empty and beaten and trodden over. Okay, so I had to be careful who has access to me. And my wake-up call was one day I was talking to my grandmother, and she was like, look at me, T, look at me. And I'm like, okay. So I look at her and she's like, you have to say no. And it hit me so deep, like, wow, this is my grandmother. She's known me from birth till now, but I've never really had an interaction with that when she knew my core. She was like, you need to change your core, your core value of wanting to people please, because that was one of my core values at that moment. Your core value of putting everyone else before yourself, that needs to shift, and you need to say no. And she was like, I'm not playing with you. You need to say no. And that set with me. It resonated with me. I tossed and turned over it. I said, what is she saying that I'm not? And it really attributed to a lot of the moments where I was tired, where I just felt like I had no more energy to give, in
Mm-hmm.
moments when I lost myself. And I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? And I couldn't even align with my mission, my purpose, and my passion, because I was too busy helping everybody else and aligning with theirs. I
Correct.
was giving people the clothes off my back, and I'm cold, wet, and naked. So
Mm-hmm.
that was really a pivotal moment in my life where I learned that I have to start saying no. And it's not like I learned it and boom, I was a better person. I was saying no consistently. I set my
Constantly doing
boundaries.
this.
No, it's a constant battle.
Mm-hmm.
As I grow, my boundaries shift and change. What am I no longer willing to do? What am I willing to do? What am I willing to give? And we listened to Oprah talk, and she said that you pour from your cup when it's overflowing. And that was so powerful to me. If I
Mm-hmm.
have nothing to give, I have to be okay with saying, hey, I can't. I have
Okay.
nothing to give. It doesn't make me lesser of a friend. It doesn't make me a weaker individual. It doesn't mean that I don't love you. I don't love you, and I don't have compassion for you and what you're going through. It just genuinely means that I'm at a point where I have nothing to give.
And I
And
love me. And
and
I
I
love
love
me.
me. And that's fine.
And I love
That's
me to
fine.
say no. And
Yes.
let me just interject real quick, Tekoa. So, like Tekoa was saying, one thing about the power of no is one thing about people, human beings. This is everybody, everywhere. They're going to always want something from you. Everybody's going to want something from you. They don't care if you're tired. They don't care if you're sick. They don't care if you're overwhelmed. They don't care. All people care about, and it's true, they have a selfish sense of themselves, and they're going after what they want from you, and they're not looking at how it's impacting you. And sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not. When people know that you are somebody who's a go-getter and who's going to get things done, they're going to come to you to get things done, and they don't look at what's going on with this individual at this point. What are they dealing with? What are they having? What are the burdens on their own back? So you have to realize people are going to use you, people are going to abuse you, people are going to stretch you to your limit. And the power of no, meaning that it's time for you to step back sometime and say, I can't do this. And it's even not even about them, it's about you. I can no longer appease these people and drown right in front of them. I can't. You need to give yourself time to do something for you. And the power of no is doing something for you, resting, which is something that we do not do. We're always going and adding additional stuff on us. Resting, stopping, stillness, healing for ourselves. And so that's very important. So no is a very important word that we need to learn to say, because it's going to make your life better. And again, like Tekoa said, it doesn't happen one day. This is a practice. You got to work on this thing all the time. And you're tossing with your head, but you gotta tell yourself, no, do it and be okay with it after you tell somebody no. Because it's for your peace.
Yep. And you said something really good. So one of the products of saying no is more relaxation. Is
Mhm.
it's being authentic to yourself. It's being real with you.
Correct.
If you're not real with you, then who will be? Not a soul. No one
Right.
else out in the world. Everyone, like you said, we talked about the crab in the barrel mentality. People are looking to pull at you. They're looking for what they
Hmm.
can get from you. They're looking to climb over you. So if
Hmm.
you're not real with yourself, then who will be? No
Correct.
one. So you have to genuinely, maybe your grandmother, because she was definitely real with me. So yeah, you have to have people in
We'll
your
say
corner
no.
who have your best interests too. So a lot of times we have these superficial friendships where we kiki with each other, but
Hmm.
they really just see you for what you can offer.
Correct.
They see you as an asset to the team. They see you as something that they can use when they need. You're in their tool belt. Oh, if I have something that comes up, I know I can call so and so. She'll help.
Yeah.
I know I can call so and so. He'll come by and do whatever I need him to do. So we don't have to be superheroes. That's not why we're here on earth. And I don't want you to feel as though you have to wear that cape. I don't want you to feel as though you have to wear that burden. You can drop that mindset today and know that it's okay. So one of the things that comes along with saying no are feelings and emotions.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
wanted to touch on that a little bit because that's a big thing for me. If I say no to someone, I instantly feel as though I failed. I feel as though I've given up. I feel as though I'm not being my best self. And that's not necessarily true. The brain is telling me that that's true because it's used to saying yes so often that when we say no, it's like, this is new. We don't usually do that. We should feel bad. But you have to train your brain, reprogram yourself to say, this is good. Saying no is healthy for us.
It's
We
healing.
didn't say no. We're looking for a new opportunity. Okay. We're looking for something different in a different direction because that doesn't align with us any longer. Okay. So that's definitely what you want to do when you start to feel those bad feelings of, I failed by saying no. I'm not being my best self.
Yes, and by doing that is, again, we're going to always talk about affirmation. It's going back into your mind and saying, "This is good for me. This is
Hmm.
healthy for me. This is going to release me from responsibilities that I really didn't want to be involved in."
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so we want to get into the habit of being okay with letting go of those negative feelings that we associate with no. And like I said before, that may stem from childhood and hearing no and coming up with negative connotations that we kind of align with the word no, but that's not necessarily true. Even when our parents were telling us no, most likely it was to protect us. Okay. And this made me consider how I talk to my daughter, that I might not say no, but I might attach that with a reasoning. I might say, not right now. Maybe a better time would be. Maybe we can't do that because we should budget. Is that
mhm.
really what we need to do? Maybe get her to practical think instead of making decisions for her and saying no. Maybe get her to think, do you really think this is a good time for that? And I think that's a better way to attach it, so that way we don't have our children growing up as people pleasers or as people who don't like the word no, don't want to associate with the word no, right?
Mhm.
And we see this in a lot of women, unfortunately. We feel as though we have to please individuals more than I feel with men. There are men who are people pleasers, but I feel like women are more so led to be the helpers, to be the pleasers, to be the individuals who step up and come to bat whenever people might need us. Can you agree with that?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, like we bend over backwards sometime to our dismay and kind of beat ourselves up for the praise and the honor of other people because we feel as though that's what we're supposed to do. We feel as though it's okay. And that mindset has to change. So,
Mhm.
and let's go into, how do you start saying no? How do you start saying no?
How
And it's not easy. It's not easy. You might just be like, yeah, I just start saying no. Yeah, you could say that, but if you're not in the habit, it's not easy. Like I said, your brain is going to put those feelings forthright and you're going to start thinking about them and feeling
you're gonna
bad
start
for saying
crying?
no. Yeah, and then you'll go back to saying yes. You'll go right back into your habit of saying yes. So we're going to envision no as our shield.
Mm-hmm.
No is there to
Okay.
protect us.
A shield. Okay.
Yeah, it's a shield. So whenever somebody asks you to do something and you really want to say no, practice saying no. Or even better, if you're not out fine with outright saying no, because I know like in somebody's face saying no can be like, but we have to get used to it. That comes from confidence. That comes from self-esteem boosting. That comes from loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When you are honest with yourself, that's what it comes down to. When you're honest with yourself, you should have the power to be able to stand in your word, to stand in your no, to hold up your shield. So when someone comes to you with an opportunity and they're like, hey, can you do such and such? And in your heart, you know you don't want to do it.
You
You
don't want
know
to do
you can't do it. You can't add another thing to your table. Say no. And like I said, if you don't feel comfortable saying no, say not right now. How
it.
about that? Not right now, not at this moment, or I'll get back to you. That's an even better one. I'll get back to you.
That's good. So you're not promising right there on the spot. You're giving yourself enough time to get the courage to say no, but you're putting that person on hold for a minute.
Yes. And
That's
and
good.
you'll be so surprised. Like I know me saying yes, yes, yes all the time. And the first time that people would start to come to me and ask me for help, and I would say, oh, I can't, not right now, or no, you'd be surprised how taken aback people would be.
Yeah.
And I would feel horrible afterwards. Like I said, my brain is telling me you should feel bad right now. You let someone down. And I talked to my mother and she was like, people will always find someone else. And sure enough, the people who were
Yeah.
requesting me, who were looking for me, not even a week later, probably like the next day, they were like, oh, don't worry about it, girl. I found somebody else. Don't worry about it. I hired a nanny. Don't worry about it. I got a dog walker. And it was like, wow, I'm really not the end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
My brain lied to me and told me I was a necessity, but I'm really not. So a lot of the times the burden and the baggage that we're putting on ourselves is literally us putting it on ourselves. Okay.
Correct.
So get out of the habit of thinking, if I don't help, who will? There's always someone else. Always. And if
Correct.
there's not someone else for that individual, that is not your fault. That is not your cross to carry. Okay.
Correct. And T, can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
You were just talking about practicing it. Also, look in the mirror. Start like
Those affirmations.
acting out in the mirror the no. Get a question that somebody would ask you and start role playing the no, saying it in the mirror, saying it in the car while you're driving. Hey, Susie, will you go to the store with me? No. Start playing that role and start saying it around you, in the house, in the mirror. And so it'll start, as much as you do it, it'll start becoming a little bit more natural as you practice it.
Certainly. So everything it improves through practice. You're
Mm-hmm.
also getting your
Your
brain ready for
brain.
not having a negative reaction when you say it because it's used to seeing you say it now. It knows that it's coming eventually. It's like, oh, we're about to say some no's. So I promise you,
You're
your life will
ready.
improve once you start to set those boundaries and say no to things
Yeah.
that you really want to say no to. Once you're real and authentic with yourself,
Yeah.
honest with yourself, and honest to those around you. And
Mm-hmm.
you're not a doormat. People don't need to walk all over you. You need to
You
assert
deserve better,
yourself.
baby. You
Yeah,
deserve
and
better.
I also so we kind of touched on saying no in terms of friends asking us to do stuff and family, but I also want to take it into work. There are times when we stretch ourselves thin at work.
They trifling. Like,
Yes, they will use you and then you die and they will hire someone else and be on to the next
yes.
person. So for your mental health, say no. I don't want you to be at work and you're so overwhelmed with all that you have on your back that you come home and you're not a nice person. You're not the best person to be around. It's because you have so much baggage on you that people have
Mm-hmm.
just been tossing on you. You're not the doorman. You're not
Mm-hmm.
meant to carry suitcases around everywhere. Let that stuff go and say no,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's not in your job description.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I'm not able to do that at this time.
Yep. Yep. I don't see that. I don't see that being able to be accomplished in my near future. I apologize. There's different ways to say no. That's something you
Yeah,
should
yeah.
definitely research and look up.
It's,
How can I professionally say no? How can I nicely say no? How can I compassionately say no? Because there's
Google
different
it.
ways to say it. It doesn't have to
Yeah,
be outright no.
no,
But the power of no is definitely so important.
it is
Even in
important.
relationships, sometimes you're in a relationship and you kind of feel like this is a little off. Maybe this person is asking you to do things that you don't feel comfortable with doing, but because of that people pleasing trait, that wanting to feel approval, wanting to feel affirmed, you're like, I'll do it anyway. Say no. No, not at all. I was watching a show and there were people who were asking other people to help them with murder, and they would say, yeah. And I'm like, why? Why didn't they say no? Because they felt as though they had to. These were
Hmm.
the biggest people pleasers ever, and I don't want to say no, and then you don't like me anymore. No, say
Oh, that
no.
one's okay to say no.
Yeah,
Oh,
that one's okay to say no. But
yeah.
it's a lot of smaller things that are okay to say no.
Yeah.
If
Correct.
you've been doing something for someone for months and you're just not really feeling it anymore, it's not aligning with who you are, you feel it draining your energy and making you unhappy, say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
They will find someone else. And if they react in a way that is negative, that's toxic to you doing what's best for you, then they're not best for you. They're
They're
not
not.
what's best for you. They don't need to take another day or step into the future with you. You need to
Correct.
drop them where they are because they are negatively impacting you and they're going to drain you of your life. I promise you. So
Hmm.
learn to say no and set those boundaries. Pick up that no shield, that new opportunity shield, and no, just because you say no to something, it doesn't mean nothing else is coming. There's
Correct.
something better coming that more aligns with who you want to be. Okay.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. That's almost like you're pushing that out of your way so good can come your way.
Yeah. If your cup is full, then how am I going to pour you some of what I got? I can't.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're already filled up to the top.
Yeah.
And I know when I'm people pleasing and when I'm saying yes to all these opportunities, I'm not the sweet Tekoa I usually am. I'm
Yeah.
overwhelmed. I'm burdened. I don't want to come home and cook dinner. I don't want to be a good wife. I don't want to be a good mom because I'm busy with everybody else's things.
Yeah. True.
So you have to put them down. God can't bless you if your hands are full with everybody else's stuff.
Other people's.
Everybody else's stuff. You have to let it go and start filling up your hand, filling up your life, filling up your journey, filling up yourself with everything that's supposed to be you. All
Correct.
things that align with you, everything that feels good to your soul. If it doesn't feel good, drop it.
Drop it.
Okay. So in 2021, we're going to learn to say no. We're going to set our boundaries. We're going to do only things that align with our core and that we 100% want to do. Not to say there won't be things that you don't want to do, but it has to align with your core. If you want to be a lawyer, the passing the bar exam is not going to be easy. You know that, but that is something that you want to do. So
Hmm.
you can't go hang out with Susie Ann and Lisa every night. You
Correct.
can't do that because you have to say no to those opportunities for new opportunities,
Hmm.
for the better
A
opportunity
higher
that
level.
you see in your future. Right. You have to vibrate at a higher level and you
Hmm.
have to excel yourself into where you want to go, things that align with you. So, yeah, it's going to be hard work, but it's hard work that'll benefit you
Yep.
rather than hard work that's benefiting everybody else and
Somebody
their
else.
mama and daddy. Okay.
Yep. Correct.
Yep. So, I'm going to leave it there. That's all I have to say on the subject of now.
Oh, you did good, girl.
Thank you.
I have a little quote.
Let me hear your quote. Let's hear it.
Okay. This was a quote. Live less out of habit and more out of intent.
Ooh.
Yes, girl. So look, what is saying no? What was we're going to conclude. We're going to sort of wrap this up. Saying no is a habit. We're born with saying no. We hear no from our parents, like Tekoa said, from our parents, from our boss, from our friends, So that's a habit. You hear that. No, actually, the yes is hearing yes is what people want to hear. But the no, you have to intentionally learn to say no. It's an intent. You have to purposely, because intent is purposely push towards saying no. Why? Because you deserve it. So your habit is wanting everybody to say yes. Sorry. Repeat that. Your habit is wanting everybody to say yes, 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 yes. The intent of it is the no is the intent. No, I cannot do this right now. No, I will not go to get this other position. No, I will not add another load of work on me. No, I will not, um, do whatever it is that you want me to do at this time. So you have to intentionally say no. It's an intent. It's a purpose. It's
Yep.
it's you have to work on that thing.
Yeah, get out of the habit of saying yes and get used to saying no. Like we said,
Right.
practice in the mirror, talk to yourself, think of all the things that you got on your plate that you want to say no to, and build up the courage to say no.
Mhm.
You don't have to be a yes man or a yes woman any longer. You have the power. Get back in that driver's seat and learn to say no. And
And
love saying no. It feels good.
and if you say yes to something and you're the next day or two, your heart is heavy with that because you really want to say no, call that person up and say, I'm sorry, I apologize, but I can't do it right now.
Change your
I
mind.
have
You're a
to say
human.
no. You have the right to change your mind anytime you want. So even if you say yes and it's just heavy because you really didn't want to say it, you have the right to say, I can't do it. Unfortunately, I apologize
Yep.
and say no. So I want to
Yeah.
let you know that how you could do that, the power of the no.
And get into the habit of knowing what are the opportunities that I want to say yes to.
Mm-hmm.
What aligns with where I'm going?
The
What are
line
the
is,
things that I want to say yes to?
mm-hmm.
I want to say yes to people who are going to teach me new things. I want to say yes to people who are going to take me new places. I want to say yes to opportunities that I'm interested in trying that I've never tried before. I don't want to keep saying yes to the same things. I don't want to keep saying yes to the mundane. I don't want to keep saying yes to hard labor that's not going to benefit me in any way.
At
You
all.
know,
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, I think I touched on it before too. As being an entrepreneur, I was saying yes to everything because I didn't know when my next check was coming. And I had to learn to trust that my next check is coming, but it's coming in new opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So, not in what I was used to doing, not in what I considered to be great for me for helping others, but it's coming to me in new opportunities. Okay.
Amen.
All right. We love y'all.
Thank you.
I hope you can feel the power of no running through your veins.
No.
Yep, pick up your no shield and let's begin
No.
setting those boundaries. All right, bye everyone. That's a wrap of today's episode. And once again, this is the podcast, Time for Tea, where we are teaching, empowering, and applying and giving out weekly doses of some good stuff for your spirit. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same place. Bye.